Hello and welcome to this session on Jenkins. Today we are going to see how we can integrate Jenkins with a source code management system, and we will use Git as an example for that. So we'll be creating a simple Java program and we'll run it through command line. Then we will create a Jenkins job and run the same Java program through the Jenkins job. We will add our project to Git, and then we will configure our Jenkins job so that it can trigger the execution on and commit to Git. So let us begin and let us see. Step 1 will be create a Java program, and I'm using a Java program as an example to show you integration with Git. You can use your own project in whatever language it is. So we will create a simple Java program, and you can create it in Eclipse or any editor. I'm directly using a text pad, so if you're on Windows you can do it on a notepad, or you can directly do on Eclipse. So let us begin, and let me just save this as a Java file first. I will name it as hello, and I will save it as a Java file so that you can see Java code here. Let me also increase the font. Okay, so we'll create a class hello, and we will create the main method. And we will have our program written inside. So let me just create a for loop. So what I'm doing is I'm just creating a for loop for iteration 1 to 10, and inside the for loop I will just print something. So let me just say system dot out dot println, and let us just print hello world and give the iteration here. So this is a simple Java program that I have created, which is printing hello world 10 times. Okay, so I'll just save it, and I have saved it on desktop. So let us do one thing. uh, Let me just create a new, you can see the file is saved here. I will create a new folder by the name uh, Java project 1, and I will move this file here. Okay, so this file is here in this project. Now I have to run it through command line. So I will go to my terminal, and if you are on Windows you will go to your command prompt, and rest of the things will be the same. So I'm going to terminal. Let me hide the sidebar so that you can see what is happening. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to go to the location of this particular file. So this file is located inside desktop and this folder. So I will go here, and now I will compile it. So I will say Java C and the file name. So I have compiled it, and you can see hello.class is created. So that means the compilation is successful, and to run it I will say Java and the name of the class without the extension, and yes, it is running. So you can see it is printing hello world 10 times. So in case you have created your project or program on Eclipse, let us say I have this hello1.java on Eclipse. In that case also you can run it through command line. What you have to do is you have to go to the location, uh, to the directory which is just above your package. If you have created a custom package, then you will go to a directory just above the package. So in my case this is src. So I hope you can see this. I will go to this particular directory on my command line, and it is here. So I will go here, and then I will do the same commands. I will say Java C I will give the package name and the file name, and then I will say Java, and this time I will give the package name and file name without the extension .java, and it is printing hello world for me, whatever was there in my program. Okay, so there you can do it anyways. So this was just an example to create a program. Okay, so we have created our program. Now we can create a Jenkins job, right? So we'll say create Jenkins job to run the program. Okay, so for that, let us start our Jenkins. So first we have to go to the Jenkins directory. So Jenkins is located in my case at desktop tools Jenkins, and we will say java-jar jenkins.var, and it will start Jenkins on the default port 8080. But if I want to use some other port, I will say --http port, and I want to start it on, let's say, port 9191. So what it will do is it will start my Jenkins on port 9191. Let us go to our browser and go to localhost 9191. So this should get my Jenkins up and running in some time. Yes, so it is getting ready. So once uh, the entire configurations are loaded, we will have our Jenkins up and running, and then we will create a simple job to execute this program. It might take a couple of seconds sometimes. Yes, it is fully up and running now. So this should show my Jenkins window now. Okay, so now I will go to new item, and I will create a program. So I will say hello world freestyle project, and I will say okay. So it has created the job, and now although we will use git, but for now we just to test, we will go to add build step, and here if you are on Windows you will say execute Windows batch command, and if you are on Mac or Linux you will say execute shell. So in my case I am going to select execute shell, and here I will give the commands. So the commands that I have to give is, I have to go to my the location of my Java file first. So this is the command to go to the location, and then I will say javac hello.java, and then I will say java hello. So this should run my program. Let us test it. I will apply and save, and I will say build now. Let us look at the console output, and yes, it was able to run our program. Okay, so we have successfully configured the job. Now we have to add our project to Git. So I'll say add project to Git and GitHub, because we will create a repository on GitHub. So let us see what we do now. So first let us go to the location of our folder here. So this is the location of the folder that I want to add to Git. Okay, so you have to go inside the location, and in your case it can be your project. So if you are new to Git and GitHub, I will recommend that you watch the session on Git and GitHub. You can watch the beginner session, and you can watch how to install and get started. If you are on Windows, you can watch introduction and session 3, which is for Windows. If you are on Mac, you can watch session 1 introduction and session 2, which is for Mac. So this is very simple. It will hardly take you 5 to 10 minutes to get started with Git. Because I have already created separate sessions on Git, for this session I will just go with the commands of Git directly. So to initialize the repository, I will say git init, and then I will say git status, So it is showing me there are two files which are not yet added, so I will add with git add dot. And now if I say git status, yes, these are added. I have to commit it, so I will say git commit -m message edit hello world program. And yes, and now I have committed, but I have to push it to a remote repository. So for that I have to go to my GitHub account. I'll go to GitHub and see, don't get intimidated with whatever I'm doing now. All this is explained in a very basic manner in the GitHub tutorial. So please watch them if in case you are new to Git and GitHub. Let me just start a project here and let me give the name hello world and create the repository. And now I will copy this location of the repository and I will say git remote add origin and the location of the repository. And now I will say git push -u origin master. So in the master branch all the projects should be pushed. So it is done 100%. If I go and refresh my repository on GitHub, I can see this has been committed and added to GitHub. Okay, now I have to configure my Jenkins job. So step 4 will be, the very first thing you will see is whether you have the GitHub plugin. So you can go to Jenkins, manage Jenkins, and here you have to go to your plugins manager. You have to go to manage plugins, and here you have to look for Git plugin. Okay, so this is the Git plugin. Now in my case it is already installed, so I am finding it in the installed section. In your case you will go to available and find Git plugin and download and install it in case it is not already available. Once you have this available, you will go to your project that we just created. So this is the project. Go to configure, and here now you will have this Git option. Okay, you will only have this option once you have the plugin available. So I will click here and it is asking me the name of the repository, the URL. So this is the URL that we just created, the repository. Okay, so this URL I'm giving here on my Jenkins job. And now in the build triggers I will select poll SCM. Okay, and here I have to give the cron expression, that how often and at what intervals do you want this particular job to check the source code repository to check for the changes. So you can give any expression here based on your requirement of the project. For now I am giving 5 stars, which means it will check the repository every minute for any changes. This is not recommended, but just for demo purpose I am giving this. So this job will check the Git repository every minute, and if there is any change it will trigger this job. Okay, so I will say apply and save. Okay, as of now you can see there is just one iteration and execution of this job which we have done manually. The next iteration will happen whenever we make any changes and push to our GitHub. So let us do some changes. Let me go to my, or let me just create a new file here. I will say touch. In case you are on Windows you will say dir, this symbol, and whatever file you want to create. Okay, it has created in Mac as well, so I have created this file here. You can also create by touch and the file name. So if I want to create index.html, I will say this, and it has created the file here. Okay, so now I have made some changes. If I do git status, it is showing me this is not added. I will say git add, and now if I do git status, it is added. I will do a git commit and give some message, new files added, and now I will say git push -u origin master, and it should push the changes to GitHub. And yes, and now you can see this job, it has started triggering the build. It has started the job on itself, and if you see the console output, you can see this is started by an SCM change. Okay, and everything is okay. It has run our program, and it is successful, right? So this is how you can create your project and add it to Git, and then create a Jenkins job to trigger whenever you make any changes in your project. Hope you like it. Thank you.